let's hypothetically, it's not hypothetical, it's true, Donald Trump has a financial interest in a meme coin named after himself. And he recently offered a VIP White House tour and special reception to the meme coin's 25 biggest holders. After that announcement, the coin surged more than 50%. Does that seem like something that warrants investigation to you, Mr. Turley?
Hey there, fellow patriots. Welcome back to Right View Nation, where we bring you the truth that the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. This is your host, coming at you with another explosive breakdown of what's really happening in Washington. Today, we're diving into an absolutely unbelievable exchange that just happened in Congress between Chairman Andy Biggs and that grandstanding Democrat, Dan Goldman. Folks, this is exactly why we need to stay vigilant about what's happening in these hearings. All right, let's break down what we just witnessed. This right here is the perfect example of how the Democrats operate. They don't care about facts. They don't care about procedure. They just want to create sound bites and push their narrative, no matter what. Look at Goldman there. Notice how he's not actually interested in hearing Professor Turley's answers? He's just throwing out these wild accusations about President Trump and some memecoin, and then trying to cut off the response. Classic Democrat playbook. They ask a loaded question, and the moment someone tries to give a thoughtful answer that doesn't fit their narrative, they interrupt and try to move on. Goldman is pulling the same tricks the Democrats have been using for years. Make outrageous claims about President Trump, demand immediate condemnation, and then refuse to let the expert witness actually respond. It's political theater at its worst, folks. Let me tell you something. This isn't about finding truth. This is about continuing their endless witch hunt against President Trump. They've been trying to take him down since 2016, and they're still at it. The American people are tired of it. We're tired of it. And did you catch how Goldman tried to compare some made-up scenario about President Trump to the very real Biden family corruption scandal? That's their strategy: deflect, deflect, deflect. The Biden family has been selling access and influence around the globe for years. We have the receipts, the bank statements, the testimony. But Goldman wants to talk about some cryptocurrency thing he just made up on the spot.
Well, there's no question that you can investigate that to see if there was any criminal conduct. I want to distinguish between that and the influence peddling scandal that the hearing was about in the Biden administration.
I'm not talking about that hearing. And I know you like to filibuster, Mr. Turley. No, I'm happy to talk about that hearing. It was the biggest joke of an investigation. It was embarrassing that you call yourself a credible criminal professor, that you would actually think that there was any evidence that warranted an investigation. But I'm focusing right now because it would seem to me, if you have any credibility, you would agree that auctioning off a White House tour for the highest investors in your own company would warrant either impeachment or criminal investigation. But let me move on because it gets worse. The president is a significant financial beneficiary of a company called World Liberty Financial, which issues a stablecoin. Are you familiar with stablecoins?
I'm not.
Okay. A stablecoin is essentially a digital version of a dollar that can be used in transactions. Recently, the World Liberty, this organization which Donald Trump is a beneficiary of, entered into a deal with a UAE-backed company that would complete a $2 billion transaction with a company that has previously admitted to engaging in money laundering. And Donald Trump's company will now generate tens to hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue from that transaction with a foreign government. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Foreign Emoluments Clause, Mr. Turley. Would you say that based on that information, since apparently you only follow Hunter Biden's finances and not President Trump's, would you say that based on me providing you with that information, that would warrant an impeachment investigation?
Congressman, when you say that we have to preserve our credibility, I think you would agree.
Can you answer the question, sir?
He's trying to answer the question.
No, he's not.
Your time has expired. I will allow the gentleman to answer the question.
Thanks. In the interest of credibility cited by the member, I'm not going to rely on the facts that you just gave me for the first time to render a judgment on it. I'm not opposed to investigations of alleged corruption. That was the point of the previous hearing. But the way to establish credibility is not, as you did, sir, just engage in personality attacks and personal innuendos. I'm happy to speak with you and to work with you about anything dealing with corruption in this building. I've been writing about that for 3 decades. I've been called as a witness for both the Democrats and Republicans dealing with that.
Well,
but the way to presume...
I've only seen you as a witness.
Your time
for
has
the
expired, sir.
Republicans.
Your time has expired.
I'm happy to yield back.
Did you finish your question?
Only that the way that we can actually regain...
I thought my time has expired.
Your time has expired. I said your time expired. He gets an opportunity to finish answering the question. You attacked.
I'd like to reclaim my time.
No, you have no additional time. You are out of order.
He's answering
Be quiet.
my question.
You are out of order.
I would like to reclaim
you cannot,
my time.
No. He's answering the question because you personally attacked him. I've said he can answer the question. I give that courtesy.
How did I personally attack him, Mr. Chairman?
You attacked his credibility. We're not going to get into we're not getting into this right now. What we're going to
He's
get
a witness. His credibility matters, sir.
You are out of order. You are out of order. You're done. You can't say anything else right now. You may finish answering your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that the one lesson from this exchange is that it's possible that we can restore credibility in this institution if we can just get beyond the personal attacks.
There were no personal attacks, Mr. Turley. You are a witness.
Done.
Your credibility matters.
You, sir, you've lost your credibility with me. I gave that courtesy to everyone on this bench.
Mr. Chairman.
You ask a question. If they wanted to continue to answer beyond the time limit, I said, time's expired, you may answer the question. That's my routine. That's what I did today. You challenged him, asked him a question. You wanted an answer. Your time has expired. He is answering the question.
Mr. Chairman,
you don't like his answer. Because you don't like his answer, you want to shut him up. What's your inquiry?
My inquiry is when you offered when my time was up at 00 for him to answer the question, he went and answered the question. You then gavelled and said my time was up.
That's not a parliamentary inquiry.
You gavelled and
that's
said
not
my
a
time was up.
parliamentary
I would
inquiry.
like to know when
that's not a parliamentary
my time
inquiry.
is up and when he gets to continue answering
That is not a parliamentary inquiry. Your parliamentarian's about to tell you. That's not a parliamentary inquiry.
He actually disagrees. He thinks it is a parliamentary inquiry.
That's not a parliamentary inquiry.
Why? I'm asking for the process question, the process question as to when my time is up, which you allowed him to answer the question. You then gavelled and said my time is expired, and then you then offered him to answer the question again, which he already had done.
No, sir. If we were to watch.
You did it based on accusations that I was personally attacking him, which I was not.
Excuse me. Not only are you out of order, you're being incredibly rude. Here's the deal. I gave everybody the same courtesy. You didn't like where he was going. You began interrupting again, but your time was expired. He was trying to answer the question. You didn't like the answer.
That is false. I'm happy to have this answer.
No, that's what happened.
I didn't like the accusation that I was personally attacking him. His credibility.
I didn't say that till the third round when you interrupted.
His
and you continue to interrupt. You continue to be out of order.
And then I asked you,
are out of order.
I asked you, what am I personally attacking? And you said his credibility, and he is a witness whose credibility matters.
You're out of order. You are so far out of order.
Well, you are not conducting this in a fair and equitable way.
Sure I am.
Because
everybody got the same courtesy. You asked a question, they're going to finish answering. Everybody got that same courtesy. You interrupted him while he was giving the answer. That's why you got gavelled.
And then
you got interrupted.
And then you said
you interrupted.
Time,
that's why
and then you said my time is up, which is when you would go to the next person.
I gave the same courtesy to every member on your side of the aisle as I gave over here. When your time was expired, 5 minutes expired. If they were in the middle of answering the question, I let it go. Now, we can talk about that round and round all you want. That's what I did. That's what I do.
Well, I look forward to you continuing to do that.
Yeah, well, good. And I look forward to you being in order next time. So, Mr. Turley, you may continue to answer the question that he so much doesn't want to hear.
I've never been so certain in saying I'm happy to move on.
Very good. Thank you.
Chairman Biggs was 100% correct to shut this down. He was running that hearing fairly, giving everyone the same courtesy, following the rules. But Goldman couldn't handle it when the witness wasn't playing along with his gotcha game. Patriots, this is what we're up against. The swamp doesn't play by the rules. They think they're above the law. They think they can just bulldoze over anyone who doesn't parrot their talking points. Let's talk about Professor Turley for a moment. This is a respected legal scholar who has testified for both parties over the years. He's not some partisan hack. And what was he trying to say before being rudely interrupted? That we should focus on facts and evidence, not political theater. That we should restore credibility to our institutions by getting beyond personal attacks. But Goldman and his Democrat allies don't want that. They want chaos. They want division. Because that's how they maintain their grip on power. Exactly. But notice how Goldman immediately interrupts again. He can't even let the man finish his thought. And then has the audacity to claim he wasn't making personal attacks while he's literally attacking the witness's credibility. This is gaslighting 101, folks. They do something right in front of your eyes, and then tell you it didn't happen. It's insulting to our intelligence. And let me tell you what this hearing was supposed to be about before Goldman derailed it with his Trump derangement syndrome. It was about investigating real influence peddling in the Biden administration. But Goldman called it the biggest joke of an investigation. Really? The American people don't think it's a joke when foreign money flows into accounts connected to the Biden family. They don't think it's a joke when whistleblowers come forward with evidence only to be ignored or intimidated. They don't think it's a joke when the DOJ and FBI treat cases differently depending on which political party is involved. No, Congressman Goldman, what's embarrassing is how you and your colleagues continue to obstruct legitimate oversight while chasing conspiracy theories about your political opponents. Patriots, this exchange represents everything that's wrong with Washington. The Democrats aren't interested in solving problems for the American people. They're not interested in holding corruption accountable. They're only interested in political theater and protecting their own. Chairman Biggs showed tremendous restraint here. He followed the rules. He gave everyone fair time. He allowed witnesses to answer questions. And for that, he got nothing but disrespect from Goldman. This is why it matters who controls these committees, folks. This is why every election has consequences. When patriots like Andy Biggs are in charge, there's at least a chance for fairness, for following the rules, for getting to the truth. But make no mistake, the left will stop at nothing to prevent that truth from coming out. They'll interrupt, they'll deflect, they'll accuse others of exactly what they themselves are doing. I want you to really think about what we witnessed in this exchange. Goldman made some wild claims about President Trump and cryptocurrencies, with zero evidence, by the way, and then got upset when Professor Turley wouldn't immediately validate those claims without knowing the facts. That's not how honest people operate. That's not how justice works. That's not how our system is supposed to function. Patriots, we deserve better than this. The American people deserve representatives who care about the truth, not just about scoring political points. We deserve committee chairs who enforce the rules fairly. We deserve witnesses who are allowed to speak without being badgered and interrupted. This exchange might seem like just another day in Washington, but it represents the bigger battle we're fighting for the soul of our republic. Will we be a nation of laws, procedures, and fair debate? Or will we surrender to those who want to rule by intimidation, interruption, and innuendo? I know where I stand. I stand with Chairman Biggs. I stand with fair process. I stand with letting people speak. I stand with America. Before I wrap up this video, I want to hear from you. What did you think about this exchange? Do you agree that Goldman was way out of line? Should committee chairs be more strict about enforcing rules? Let me know in the comments below. And if you believe in what we're doing here at Right View Nation, bringing you the unfiltered truth that the mainstream media won't, then please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Remember, patriots, stay informed, stay vigilant, and never stop fighting for the America we love. This is Right View Nation, signing off. God bless America, and we'll see you in the next video.